Hey YouTube, this is Jaden coming at you from Team Shadow Strike with a deck profile. Now, I have a friend who is currently building Shadow Paladins, and Shadow Paladins is one of my favorite clans, mainly because it's a Paladin, and he asked if there's any other build of it besides the Phantom Blaster Overlord, and the truth that I told him is that's the main build that's played, and there was only one other build that I could even think of, so I figured I'd post it on here for just reasons for him to see, or for anyone else to see that who likes Shadow Paladins. Maybe they just don't like Phantom Blaster Overlord that much. They want to try something different. It's also can be considered a budget Shadow Paladin deck if you're not willing to spend the money that Phantom Blaster Overlord comes with. Excuse me. So anyway, I'm going to get into this deck profile. I have not playtested it yet. I do have perfect guards in here right now, but I will tell you when I get there what you could substitute those for if you did not have them. So without further ado, here we go. Grade zeros. For the starter, I'm using Zapu Bow. Now, the reason this is because there's only two starters for Shadow Paladin, this and Full Bow. Neither one of them is a Forerunner, where they can move out to the outer circles. Full Bow is used with the Phantom Blaster Overlord deck, so I figured, hey, Zap Bow, let's show him some love, he can be the starter. I'm still playing 8 critical, 4 draw, 4 heal. If you'd want to mix up the trigger lineup, that's up to you. If you'd want to fit some stands in here, that's up to you. I wouldn't play stands, I'd play the critical triggers. That's just me. Grade 1s. 4 perfect guards. Now, if you did not want to play perfect guards, you're kind of limited on what you have access to. You could still play the Blaster Javelin engine if you wanted to play 4 Blaster Javelin and then a couple Blaster Dark if you still want that for your to like guarantee that grade 2 ride. I don't play Blaster Javelins or Blaster Darks. But I will kind of fill in what you could change out for that. So if you did not want to spend the money on perfect guards, you could play 4 Blaster Javelin instead. And then I play 4 Black Sage Karen, 4 Witch of Nostrum Arianrod, and then 3 Garuru Bow. If you were playing Blaster Darks, you might also consider playing Doran Bow, which is the Wingle clone that if he's boosting Blaster Dark, he'll boost for 10. So if you were going to play Blaster Dark in the deck, if you like Blaster Dark, I would play 4 Blaster Javelin and 4 Blaster Dark, just so you could have 19k rows, which would be a good alternative to Masquerade, which is the 12k attacker, but only works if your Vanguard has the word Blaster in its name. And the 2 grade 3s in this deck, they don't have that in their name. So, for grade 2s, I play 2 Knight of Darkness Rugos and 1 Knight of the Fighting Spirit Dordona. You can play any combination of them, they're just 10k vanillas. Grade 2s, 4 Moonlight Witch Vaha. Since you are not using Phantom Blaster Overlord and you're not using Skull Witch Nemain or Maka, I figured, I'd give Moonlight Witch Vaha a try, because I've never tried her in anything else, and she really doesn't have any place in Phantom Blaster Overlord decks, so I figured I'd try this. Now, these are just mainly in here because it might help you get to that one card that you don't have, like maybe you're looking for another booster, maybe you're looking for your grade 3 or a perfect guard, so I really just put these in here for filler. If you could pick up maybe a couple Dark Sage Maka or a Skull Witch Nemain, you could put those in there, but I just put these in here because I figured, they might do better in this build. And then 4 Cursed Lancer. If you would be interested in seeing another version of this deck, if I get 5 thumbs up on this video, I will put the Blaster Javelin and Blaster Darks and Doran Bows in here and mix it up a little bit, but I wanted to make it as cheap as possible, and Skull Witch Nemains and Dark Sage Makas do cost money, and Moonlight Witch Vaha is cheap. So I kind of wanted to make it a mix of budget, but with perfect guards. And then, obviously, if you don't have the perfect guards, like I said, you could replace them with blaster javelins and play maybe a couple blaster dark. So then you could just fill that in, for the rest of you. And then for the last grade 2, 4 Cursed Lancer. Since the only way you would be using your counterblasts would be for Moonlight Witch Vaha, at least for your grade 2s. This would give you access to flip them back over for your main creature. For grade 3s, I'm playing 3 Dark Dictator. Now, Dark Dictator is kind of like an Alfred Soulsaver clone for Shadow Paladin. I'll read him to you real quick. It was a promo for one of the sets. I can't remember which one, but his abilities: Continuous, Vanguard. You cannot boost this unit, so there's where the Alfred comes in. The other Alfred ability: during your turn, this unit gets plus 2,000 for each of your Shadow Paladin rear guards. So if your rear guard's full, he can shoot for 20k. And he is a common card, and you could probably order him for pretty cheap. That's why, he works good for budget decks. And then this ability is just amazing for Shadow Paladin and for budget decks in general. Soul Blast 3. When this unit is placed on the Vanguard, you may pay the cost. If you do, choose up to 2 of your Shadow Paladin rear guards in your front row, and those units get plus 5,000 until the end of turn. So, very, very good, if you did ride him as your grade 3, you would have your grade 0, 1, and 2 in the soul, so there'd be a cost for one of your soul blasts. So, very, very good card for budget decks. It's cheap and has a really, really good effect. And then I also am playing in the deck 4 Origin Mage Ildona. And this, he's a pretty decent card, because he really doesn't have a place in a Phantom Blaster Overlord deck, because Phantom Blaster Overlord, you're already going to have a cross ride, so there's really no reason to play him. But he does have a good effect, and that's why I thought I would build this deck, just so maybe show another side of Shadow Paladin. And I will read you his effects real quick. Limit Break 4, Counterblast 2, choose 2 of your Shadow Paladin rear guards and retire them. When this unit attacks, you may pay the cost. If you do, draw 2 cards, and this unit gets plus 3k until the end of that battle. And then the other ability is when this unit attacks a Vanguard, this unit gains plus 3,000. So he can attack Cross Rise, which is very good, which is another good thing for a great budget deck. And then, his Limit Break is really good. It gives him another plus 3,000 power, and it adds to your hand. So you'll draw 2 cards before you do your Twin Drive, so you can technically plus 4 that turn just off draw power. And, so it'll be very, very helpful for you to replenish that hand to guard with, because the downside is he is a 10k Vanguard, and if he is going against Crossride, you're going to need a little more protection. So anyway, guys, this has been a deck profile for a budget build for Shadow Paladins. This deck overall is broken down into the most expensive build that I could come up with, except, for Perfect Guards. Perfect Guards, yeah, that's probably about $70, I think. And then, Garua Bao, he's like $1 or $2. Moonlight Witch Vaha, $1 or $2. Dark Dictator, since it's a promo, might be $3, and then your Eldonas might be $4 a piece. So the deck overall is pretty cheap. This deck I would comfortably say is no more than $110. Or, you know what, maybe even $100. I don't know, but this is a very, very good budget deck in my opinion. So, anyway, I just thought I'd post this and just kind of give you guys something else to look at, and another deck profile. So, anyway, guys, tell me what you thought of the budget Shadow Paladin deck. Tell me what you think you could do to the deck to make it maybe better, or, I was trying to keep it... Whenever I do a budget deck, I try to keep it under $150. That is, and I try to stick as close to 100 as I possibly can. And, because the way I figured is commons, they don't cost you anything. Like I said, the playset of perfects might be $70. Garua Bao, like $1 or $2. The Moonlight Witch Vahas and all this and that. I really think this deck... if I was, I honestly think this deck is right here as it sits is only worth about $100 to $110. So, But anyway, I just wanted to post this for a budget deck. So if you are a budget player and you can't spend a lot of money on the top decks, this is a good budget deck that you probably can save up the money to get your perfects and still build the deck and still be really competitive. I really think this deck would still work. I have, not played this deck. I literally just threw this deck together today. And this next upcoming weekend at my locals, I will play this against some people and just kind of see how the deck runs. I will report back and tell you how it did, and then I will post maybe another build if I think a couple things should be changed. So, guys, I hope you enjoyed this. In the comment section below, tell me what you think about the deck. Tell me what you think I could change. Tell me if you're interested in other budget decks. If I think of a good one, I try and post it on here. And this is a good budget Shadow Paladin deck. So thanks for watching, guys. Comment, rate, subscribe, thumbs up the video if you like if you like the budget Shadow Paladin deck. And I will see you guys later. So lastly, if you would like to see more budget decks, kind of give me an idea what you'd like it to revolve around, and I'll try and make a deck around it, and I will post it up, and I'll see what I can do. Thanks, guys. Thanks for watching. You know what to do. All that's good stuff. Comment, rate, subscribe, thumbs up, and I'll see you later.